Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And great to have you back here. We're going to give you some insight today on getting through those challenges in life. Let's be honest, they're going to pop up all the time. Big things, little things, and sometimes you react to them. I say some of us go into freak mode. There's nothing wrong with that. However, maybe you don't need to if you build up what's known as emotional resilience, kind of a thick skin, how to deal with those situations. And we're going to talk with her today. She helps people with a lot of this stuff, therapy for individuals, couples, all different situations. She's an amazing psychologist. Dr. Ann Creekmore is back with us. How are you doing today?
Great, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. Emotional resilience. How would you define it?
Emotional resilience, if it's basically, I think, like you were saying, where you can stay calm and stable and feeling okay, regardless of the challenges and stressors that are going on. That you can adapt to it. You can turn a lemon into lemonade, if you will, and not let it bring you down emotionally when things happen. We're either having fun or we're learning, right? You can just say, you don't get over upset about it, and you just say, well, I'm not having the fun, but I am be learning something, this is an opportunity for something here positive.
That's a great point you bring up, because some say there is a lesson in everything. Some would say things happen for a reason, and when we're put on this planet to learn and teach. And we're always learning about a situation, and also learning about ourselves on how we react to certain situations, right?
Exactly. And that, keeping the positive self-talk going that we, talked a lot about, the cognitive behavioral therapy where, instead of saying negative things that you wouldn't say to a friend and probably even an enemy, you don't say them to yourself. You say what you'd say to somebody if they were having a challenge. You say, you're smart, you're capable, you can do this, and it's going to be okay, and keeping that yourself calm and able to handle things and keep your IQ up, as they say, so you're not all angry and frustrated and you can't think straight and carry out, problem solve the situation if the stress is there.
Can you expound upon IQ? Because you said something similar in the past that and I'm trying to remember exactly how you said it, but when certain things come up, you get dumb. Your IQ goes down, right? Tell me about that.
I know I didn't say it that way.
That's me. That's my paraphrase.
I love it, Steve. Please say it clearly, however you'd like to say it. I think I was saying that my research has shown that a person's IQ, their intelligence level, actually goes down 2 standard deviations when they become angry. And they're not playing with full deck then, because they're not using their full resources. So it's best to be at that calm inner peace state at all times, and that you'll be able to use your intelligence to the best that way.
Would you say, and you have somewhat of an unfair advantage because you have all your schooling behind you, but now compared to, let's say, 10 years ago, would you say your emotional resilience is much stronger now?
Well, I say that it, I might have been tested a few more times, right, and gotten through things, and and doing that does make you stronger, like they say. It doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. As long as you can, handle it and stay calm, and it works out over time. You're back on your feet, and whatever the situation is, then you learn. You get older, and you learn, it'll all work out in the end, and that does increase your resilience. So, but I would say, just like you mentioned, even going to school, getting my doctorate, and become a licensed clinical psychologist and learning cognitive behavioral therapy, how to change your thoughts, and, stop negative thinking. Back even in graduate school really helped me a lot. And I've been able to keep using that to stay steady I also have another in my book, in the second chapter called Feel Your Feelings. There is a specific form of therapy that I don't think we've ever talked about before. I'm not positive we did. I might have talked with Jill once, at the beginning of these shows about it, but it's called Focusing Inward, and it's by a psychologist called Eugene Genlin. His book is called Focusing. You can get just a little handbook, a little paperback, and it takes you through these steps of how you can take yourself from feeling totally overwhelmed and get yourself to a place where you feel, relaxed and relieved that you've got a solution. So I can share a little bit about that, the steps to that, because we've never really talked about that, if you'd like to.
Yeah,
because
that'd be great.
I think that was also one of the things that I felt for myself helped me really begin to, to stay calm in whatever situation was presented, because I had the steps, the strategies, coping skills. Well, you call them the coping skills, the stress management skills to handle a challenge. And what that is the first step is you kind of pretend that you have the crux of it is, before I go into the steps, is just that we get overwhelmed. It's like there's a straw that breaks the camel's back. You've heard that. And so if you can just pull that straw off, then the camel can, still stay standing and keep going. And that's what this process of focusing inward does for oneself, for people, where you, first of all, you imagine your problems as if they're boxes, like big boxes on the floor with labels. And so you label each one of your problems. And, you could say, I don't know, anything. My boss's temper, not enough money, or, whatever your thing is, fighting with, husband or wife, whatever. And you got your labels there. Then you look at these step two, as you look at these boxes, and you say, well, which one feels the yuckiest when we look at it, or which one looks the heaviest to lift? And then you break that, then you pick that one and you work on that one. And what you do is you kind of ask, like, well, how do I feel about this? What are my emotions? Am I, sad, scared, under the anger, not the anger, because that's your clue that you are having feelings, and you don't want to just stay with that. It doesn't get you anywhere. You have to go, well, what's deeper? Am I worried about something? Do I feel overwhelmed about this? Or am I feeling inadequate? Am I feeling hurt and disappointed? Get to the feeling level. And then so you know why you're upset at a deeper level, not just staying at the anger tip of the iceberg. And then you ask yourself, well, if I could give it like a picture's worth 1,000 words, if I could give it like a visual image, what would that image look like? For example, if you said that you were feeling depressed, or sad, or some grief or whatever, then the person might say, well, I feel like I'm in this deep pit, it's really dark. I just can't even see my way out or anything. So that's a very, poignant, visual image. A picture's worth 1,000 words of those feelings, that you're just feeling in this deep, down, dark pit, no way out to look out, isolated. And so then the next step is to ask yourself, okay, that's what I'm feeling. And you say, well, why do I feel that way? What is the worst thing about this for me? Like, why am I, what bothers me the most about it? And there's an example I always give, and I don't know if it's a good example, but it's an example that, say a woman has cancer talking to her doctor, and she's real scared and anxious and everything, and the doctor's listening to figure out, well, what's really she's worried about. And it turns out what she's worried about is she's going to have chemo, radiation, she's going to lose her hair. That was the worst of it. In other words, at that particular moment, the worst thing, when I was worried about dying, she's worried about she's going to get this treatment, she's going to have no hair, what are people going to think of her? So then you know what you're working with. So the solutions have to pertain to the worst thing that's really bothering you. See, we're pulling that straw off the camel's back. We're getting deeper. And if we can get that one off, we can feel good again, not overwhelmed with our emotions. So if he said, the doctor in this case, for example, says, well, there people just love this shop over here where they have all these hats and these wigs and bandanas and and then she actually felt better. She's like, okay, that's true. I can still, look nice and I'll get a setup and be fine. And so then this next step, of course, always the step if you decide to take action and do it. And then the last step is to pat yourself on the back for doing it. No matter what happens and how it works, you did it. And you'll do things like that again as long as you're speaking in a rewarding, complimentary way to yourself. So taking it all the way from cancer down to, now I feel good. I'm going shopping, Get to go get some new stuff for myself. And, but I'm not making a joke about that, but you know what I mean? She's feeling like, hey, I have a solution to this and felt better. Even though there are a series of other problems and other boxes, if you get directly to what's really bothering you, problem solve it to the point that you feel relaxed about it and you start to feel that feeling of relaxation, relief, like, yeah, I can do that. That'll be great. And you put, pat yourself on the back. You've kind of gotten yourself, into that resilient state that you can manage things and not be overloaded with everything at once.
So many things here to dissect, and thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing that. No, it's great.
Steps.
No, it's great. It's often been said that we need to identify our emotions. So in this situation, we're putting them in boxes.
Yes.
We're labeling the boxes. We're looking at which boxes are the heavier lift as opposed to the other box. What does it feel like when you look at this box compared to that one?
Correct. But breaking it down.
Right. Mm-hmm. And in the woman's situation, with the faced with potentially losing her hair, if you not look to the future and you stay in this moment, she might not lose her hair.
Right.
If she does,
you can look into that. Mm-hmm.
It probably will grow back. She can get, and most likely will. There are wigs available. I want to be honest with you. I want to say it was 7 years ago. I tried a fairly revolutionary new drug for skin cancer. I've been dealing with it forever. Minor skin cancer, have surgery here and here. This particular med was, supposedly kind of nuke it. So I was like, all right, try it. So I was worried about the side effects. One of them was hair loss. Never had an issue. Some muscle cramps, which is normal. But I worried about it, and it didn't transpire. Side note, it helped a little bit, but the med wasn't the best. Fast forward to 2 years ago, I had radiation for skin cancer on the side of my face. I let it go. I didn't realize the severity. I had a beard at the time, and So, side note, in all of that, hair loss in the area possible. So yes, I can't grow a beard over here. Fantastic. I don't have to shave. So look at the
You're right. You never know it. You're the only one who knows it.
Right. And everything healed beautifully. There was a little bit of hair on the side here that didn't grow back. And it was like an 8% chance that it might not. I was at 8%. Tiny bit. But guess what? I go to the barber, he just shaves you can't even tell anyway. So
exactly. Simple solutions to simple problems.
Right. You wouldn't even know, if or if I really wanted to let my hair grow way longer, it would cover it up. You wouldn't even see it. But
many solutions.
But guess what? Of course I worried about it. Of course I was concerned about it, but it all worked out in the end. I want to ask you, and once you go down this road of emotional resilience, where you confronted this, came through it. Wow. Look at you.
Exactly.
Now you're on to the next thing. Now you're on to something else.
Right. That's life.
Does it get easier? Do you find that you just are stronger with each challenge along the way once you start realizing that you have some resilience?
Absolutely. The more you practice that resilience, then, you say your breath work, or you've learned to take care of yourself, your mind, body, spirit, if you will, where you're focusing on keeping yourself at a peaceful level and taking care of your health so you feel good, and your positive thoughts and so on, positive mindedness. then, and you go through these experiences and you make it through, then yeah, you feel great, better, you feel great because you did get through it. And often things that look bad by appearance are really it is a learning. It's something maybe you needed to move. As they say, the universe gives you a 2x4, hit with a 2x4 to get you into where you're supposed to be. And so something may happen that looks kind of bad by appearance, but actually when you go through it, it gets you to a better place. And if you can kind of be open to that, to the present, to the present miracle, if you will, that present, that you're moving into something good at all time, it will open up into that. Versus if you say a lot of negative things and worry, you're going through a lot of worry for nothing half the time anyway. Yes. And you're also clouding your thinking, and you're not doing the problem solving, and you're not doing the healing. But if you can kind of get your skill set together, your coping skills, and just do them each time, it's an opportunity to kind of build your muscle, your emotional resiliency muscle.
Well put. Okay, and I was thinking that before, the muscle analogy where...
I read your mind, right? We think of great minds think alike.
I'm going to go with that. When those things come up, you get to, exercise that muscle. Would you say that sometimes, or very often, it takes one of those major events in your life to kind of just like, bam, like the 2x4 across the head.
Right.
Oh, what just happened? What am I going to do? And then you came through it. Wow, look at me. And then now on to the next one. It was easier. On to the next situation. That was easier. And the time that it takes you to recover from the surprise is even shorter.
Absolutely. And especially if you're kind to yourself and you're a friend to yourself, because some people may, get through something and hopefully they're in therapy or have a good friend, that can say, wow, you did it. Good job. And that'll get them to be giving them themselves the same positive feedback. Because if you don't add that piece in and you still are thinking negatively, it can take any situation to a bad one. It's not going to increase your emotional resiliency if you're telling yourself you're a loser or something in the situation. Every time, give yourself a pat on the back that you did it. And that will be something that you'll feel good about yourself for.
Are there things that you can do to help flex that muscle? Like, for example, we talk about being grounded. So instead of, you being in freak mode, to be grounded, i.e. go outside in nature, whatever you do to get grounded, things like that.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I think we've talked too about of course, being in therapy and, in therapy or doing hypnosis, relaxation, techniques, tapping, solution techniques, breath work, being with nature, all, those kinds of things, caring for yourself on a regular basis, practicing whatever your personal spiritual practices that help you come to a feeling of, peace, inner peace and love on a regular basis, keep you at that resilient state.
Let's talk about that spiritualism for just a moment. A lot of people equate that to religion. You can if you want to, but that's not necessarily where we're going. I define spiritual as believing in something, whatever that is, that's bigger than you. That's bigger than you. How would you define it?
Yes, I agree with you. It's kind of being, having faith, that you have purpose and that, there is a good force and something that transcends you, that your purpose in life, that you are, that you have that sense of faith and goodness and purpose in your life. And that could be anything. It can be, just following your breath and mindfulness and just being there, knowing that you have that inner peace right within you to always turn to.
Yeah.
And
it's almost
it could be your religion. It could be, as long as it's bringing you to a sense of inner peace, your sacred space within of love and peace, it's right for you. and we all need to do that, have that.
Oh, you know it when you know it, and when you're in the thick of things.
Exactly.
And I can personally, if you were to go back 5 years and before, I would run. I'm not even sure. I was going to say run hot, but no temper. This is me, chill, low key. But I would always be on guard, like, oh my gosh, what if this were to happen? What if that would happen? Financially, I was okay, no problem. What if I lost one of those jobs? Oh my gosh, what would happen? And
Right.
now I don't really care. I do, but I don't really care. I pilot by. Nothing surprises me anymore. And maybe
Right.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I find it supports me where, I believe even in the last 5 years that my resilience is way higher, even to the point where people have said to me in situations, how are you doing it? Like, how are you getting through with that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I have faith in something, whether,
Yes.
the universe is supporting, but faith in yourself is so
Yes.
essential in getting that. That takes time. I think that takes experience and situations showing that I got through that, I got through that, I got through that, to have faith in yourself.
Exactly. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yay, of course. That's where we want to be, at that positive, that, that it will all work out, I mean, we're just learning at that moment, and we'll be back to fun soon.
Well, it's funny you brought back a memory. My mom would always say that. She would always say, it'll all work out. And of course, you're younger, cliche. But, she would also say, be careful what you ask for. Well,
Watch what you wish for.
she didn't say it like that. But, if you believe in manifestation, or if you believe in what you think becomes your reality, essentially it's that.
Exactly.
Be careful what you ask for.
Exactly. And you really are asking, your word is creating, your word being your thoughts, as well as what you say, is going to lead to the outcome, because it'll cause you to feel a certain way and then behave a certain way. And then the outcome will depend on if you're coming from that positive minded place. And then you'll create a positive outcome.
Love it. I know you have wonderful books that essentially in different chapters talk about what we're talking about today.
Yes.
And it's under your pen name, AP Filosa. But what's the best way if somebody wants to maybe get some therapy, have questions, want to learn about your books? How do they do that, Ann?
The easiest way is just to go to Psychology Today online and look up my name, Ann Creekmore, and under it has my link to my website that has all my information on it.
Today's a great word. It's something when you said that word, it resonated with me in that worry about today, worry about here and now, as opposed to the past, the future. The past is the past. You can learn from it, but don't marinate in it. The future, not guaranteed. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't even know what's going to happen in 5 minutes from right now. If you do, let me know. I don't know.
Right.
You're pretty amazing if you know with full certainty. But today, savor today. Live in this moment.
Absolutely. Be the present, at the present good of your life, and gratitude. And that's the other one, right? Always should be saying the gratitude. Even a problem is something to be grateful for. It can lead to, it's an opportunity for growth.
Thank you so much for today. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Steve. Appreciate you.
Yep, same. And we'll catch up soon. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ann Creekmore. I want you to know that you have the power to shine your light and be a magnificent, authentic person that you are in your mind, body, and spirit, and to have a wonderful, fulfilled life. I have written several books, but the one I'm sharing about is Love Yourself, Love Your Life. I want you to have that book so you can start healing the emotional wounds of the past and release any negative subconscious beliefs that are holding you back, so you can become the whole, fulfilled, happy person you're meant to be. please feel free to contact me. You can find me on Psychology Today, which links into my website. Thank you. Blessings and love.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15s. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.